Good morning. Welcome to this service of worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson. My name is Celeste Rogers, and I will be your worship associate this morning. Happy Mother's Day to all mothers of every kind. Our community is striving to become as varied as the blooms of the Sonoran Desert. Whoever you are, whoever you have been, and whoever you are becoming, I invite you to bring your whole self here now. We no longer require that masks be worn in worship and or in concurrent religious education. However, if you are feeling sick, we encourage you to join us from home on YouTube. Based on our last poll, which was quite a long time ago, UUCT members are committed to being fully vaccinated and boosted. For all of our sakes, especially those among us who are most vulnerable, please let us maintain that commitment. If you need them, there are male and female bathrooms out the glass doors behind you and to your left. And there's also an accessible and gender-inclusive restroom in the alcove behind the AV desk. I will now read the words for our call to worship. Our words for call to worship come from Reverend Elizabeth Mount. They write, "From our very first breath, we reach out. Co-regulation, not self-regulation, is in our nature. We find our cues from the sun and the moon. From each parent and caregiver, we find our place in this great turning planet by turning to one another. Generation to generation, we awaken to the dawn and fall asleep at the evening's end. Our life's journey is part of something greater, something simple, something divine. A flame cannot be lit without a spark. A life cannot begin without the air. And we cannot begin to find ourselves without love. May we reach out to one another. May we offer love and nurturing care. May we join together in celebration of the interdependence of our lives. In this spirit, let us worship together." Now, please join me in saying our words for chalice lighting from Reverend Sherry Woodbury. I will say the plain font, you will say the italicized words. Welcome all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one who is grateful for today. Know that in this place you are not alone. In community, we share our strength with one another, and we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place, responsibility is shared. Here, traditions holds us. Ancestors shine a light from the past. Here, the young lift their bright faces and beckon us onward. Take my hand, and we can go on together. If you are joining us on YouTube and have a candle or chalice nearby, please light it with us now as we light our chalice here in Holland.
Would you please respond in song by standing as you are able and turning, if you have a gray hymnal, to 298, and if you don't, the words will be projected on the screen. Wake now my senses. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of the being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving, as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quest for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. suffer thy limit, and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give lead to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now, my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now, my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care. Thank you.
Our earth is strong. It can hold our pain and our joy, our love and our anger. Our shared bowl, which we use for joys and sorrows each week, is strong enough to hold the big rocks, our collective celebrations and mournings, and also the smaller stones that will be added to signify our individual joys and sorrows. I hold in my heart all those who are struggling under oppression and war today. First, let us remember those desert people who came to this place first. We honor the Hohokam, the Yavapai, the Tohono O'odham, the Yaqui, and the people who no longer exist as tribal entities here in Arizona. We who live in the desert know that water is a life-sustaining and scarce resource. Let us remember those who are walking through our desert right now without access to water. We pour water from a plastic jug, similar to the ones used by those seeking to assure greater access to water in the desert, like our ministry partner, No More Deaths. If you have a joy or sorrow to share, I invite you to go to menti.com and put in the code 618-21442. If any of you here in the sanctuary wish to put your thoughts on Menti, Brian Moon can help you do that. If you are here in person, I invite you to come up to the table and create ripples of hope by putting a stone in the water to symbolize your joy or sorrow. for those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken.
I'll read our mentee responses before our words of prayer. Sorrow that a wonderful brother, Jamie Moore, died yesterday. That's Janet's brother. Sending you love, Janet, and to all who love Jamie. Woke up sick this morning, sad that I cannot be in person, but glad for the opportunity to put the community above myself. We love seeing Jamili, Master of Divinity, graduate and cross her threshold. Yay! Motherhood, an unending dance of joy and sorrow, yes. I was lucky enough to have a loving mom who gave me so much. I'm thinking of her now. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to my strong and resilient sister, Mom, and Nana Hart. Sorrow enforces to unwanted paths, but joy and transitions to new possibilities. Confused about wars, joining you there. Joy for 25 years together as a couple, and because the best is yet to come, from Bob Gordon and Steve Kranak. And I will echo two celebrations in this community care corner that our very own Pastor Jamili Omar graduated from Star King School for the Ministry with her Master of Divinity this past Thursday, May 9th. Congratulations, Pastor Jamili. And echoing again that Steve Kranak and Bob Gordon celebrated their 25-year anniversary of becoming a couple on May 10th. 25 years ago, they write, the state of Ohio denied them the right to marry, but their UU community supported and celebrated in a commitment service. And we continue to do that. And in coming weeks, if you have a major milestone that you would like mentioned in our Community Care Corner, which is said out loud in the service and also written in the Sunday morning emails, let me know and we can list it there. And I invite you now into a time of centering and listening deeply, whatever that looks like, feels like for you and your body as it is right now today. Our words for prayer, contemplation, meditation this morning come from Reverend Linda Susan Ulrich, called For All the Mothers. And I've edited these words to include explicit reference to a non-binary parent. They write, for all the mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, and extended family members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, the wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, the it's complicated mothers, the birth mothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, the used to be dad mothers, the more than one mom mothers, and the not so female mothers, the single mothers and separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, unhoused mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve their mothers, and those whose grief is complex. For all the communities that mother, and for all who depend on the great mother, you are held and beloved.
Would you please respond with singing? And I think it may be easier if you stood, but I'll let you decide. So stand as you choose. Comfort Me, hymn 1002 in the Teal hymnal. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
You sound good this morning. Our reading this morning comes from my colleague, Reverend Christian Schmidt. He's also my tax accountant, which is a fun fact. Fun facts. This is called Diaper Wisdom. He writes, when one of my sons was quite young, no longer a baby, but not only just into toddlerhood, we were out at a local park. He was having a blast, though I noticed he was walking a little funny. He had, not for the first time, wet his diaper and right through his clothes, despite having a fresh diaper on. Such is life. After all, I was prepared. I had the diaper bag. I had plenty of diapers and wipes. I had a change of clothes. I had a portable changing pad. I had everything. There was no public restroom nearby, but I made do on a park bench. I laid him down on the pad, pulled off his little outfit, cleaned him up, and got him in a brand new diaper, ready to conquer the world. And off he went, toddling around the playground. Except that almost immediately he returned, another wet stain spreading down his pants. I picked him up, wondering what on earth could have gone wrong. A quick investigation revealed the issue. I had failed to make sure that his penis was completely inside his diaper, which it turns out is almost completely stymies the diaper's capacity to hold the fluid. And it gets worse. For all my preparations, it turned out I had packed only one spare outfit. All I could find in the bottom of the diaper bag was a shirt 4 sizes too big for him. I felt awful. We had only just gotten to the playground, and now we would have to go home, which I knew my little boy would throw a fit about. So I did it. I put him in a fresh new diaper, triple-checked for proper placement, and dressed him in one ridiculously large shirt and sent him off into the world. And off he went in his giant t-shirt, happy as he could be. And I breathed several sighs of relief, relaxing on the park bench like I had just run a marathon. I've since thought that there's a lesson in here for all of us. You can make all the preparations in the world. You can have all the experience. You can do almost everything right, and still, one little mistake can ruin the whole endeavor. Or, stay with me here, he writes, you can be thankful for what you have and keep on playing. Much of parenting has been like this for me, learning about growing and adjusting my expectations, many of which I never realized I had until they were broken. And he concludes, We have the child we have, not the child we might have planned for. We are the parent we are, not the parent we might wish we were. We can let those truths haunt us, or we can keep on playing. For my son, the choice was obvious. I'm still learning to be more like him. That ends our reading. If I have learned anything about parenting in 3 short years, it is this: we all have a little toddler in us. We never really leave behind the big feelings and the raw excitement and the bliss. They just look different, sound different in bigger bodies. Tantrums sound different through brains wired for some more emotional regulation and added impulse control. Excitement and bliss get interrupted by our to-do lists, but still, we all have a toddler in us. All children offer us mirrors back on our own lives. Just as Reverend Christian's shirt-diapered toddler taught him about being thankful for what he has, children teach us about our own growing edges. And in that spirit, I've brought to you today 7 lessons that my kid reminds me of on a daily, if not hourly basis. And I think these lessons apply whether you are a parent or an auntie, an uncle, a sibling, or a friend. Kids have something to teach all of us. Number 1 might seem obvious for Unitarian Universalists: entertain the why. The persistent whys from some toddlers can be, for me, exasperating. But something shifted in me when I realized that a why is rooted in my kid's deep desire to understand the world around him. What is it? How it works? And what is his place in it? My kid is making meaning of the world, and I have the privilege of answering his questions as honestly as I can to shape that meaning, which sometimes means saying, I don't know, and other times means mirroring an honest, why does that work the way that works, back to myself. His whys become spiritual questions if I have enough patience. And when we get to the heart of his whys, I have a few answers to Otis's strings of whys that I almost always lead back to. My final answer, you would say like the period at the end of these sentences, is almost always patriarchy, colonization, or capitalism. Almost always. And this reality leads me to my own why. Why does the world have to be this way? How could things be different? What do I have to do to heal our world and myself for my kid? So my kid is teaching me to embrace the whys as an opportunity to make our world and ourselves better. Number 2, repeat, repeat, repeat. Those of you who have raised, nurtured, and been close to children know how they can become obsessed with that one book or song or game or toy or episode. And my adult mind finds this pretty boring. There are only so many times you can read Brown Bear, or watch the bike episode of Bluey. But then I remember how I feel when I watch that same movie for the 100th time, or read that poem that I've read a zillion times, or listen to that song that I know every lyric, harmony, and drum beat to. Repetition gives me comfort. My friend and colleague, Reverend Mandy Beal, reminds me often when I bring a problem to her, Bethany, novelty is not ministry. Meaning, tell the story again, preach on the topic again, because meaning making isn't always about the new revelation, but about unpacking what you've already unpacked, talking about the thing you've already explained. It's why we tell stories in our lives and in church. The stories that stick with us, the stories we are moved to tell again and again and again, shape us year after year and help us make new meaning of the world and our lives as we hear them again and again and again. My kid is teaching me to repeat and repeat and repeat, and that creates space for comfort and growth. Number 3, go ahead and have the big feeling. One of the big learnings for me as a parent early on was how to acknowledge, name, and talk about feelings. Like some of you, I didn't grow up in a culture that asked me to talk about my feelings very much. Early on in my parenting journey, I picked up on the advice to introduce feelings to my infant, just a baby. I started using the language of happy, mad, or sad to describe how I imagined he might have been feeling. And now he uses those words to describe how he's feeling. And we're learning together about more nuanced and complex emotions like worried, excited, and frustrated. I do this because I want my child to know that the feelings he has are all normal. They're all okay. And the important piece is that I will love him no matter how he feels. I want this for all of you, actually. If we all knew how to name our feelings, understand that all feelings are okay and normal, and the key to trust that we will still be lovable even if we express those feelings, how different could we be? How much stronger could we be? How many conflicts, small or monstrous, could be nipped in the bud if we just acknowledged and expressed and felt loved in our truest emotions? My kid is teaching me to feel, express, and trust that I am worthy of love no matter what feelings I express. Number 4, apologize often. I want my kid to know that we are all wrong sometimes, even adults. And when we are wrong, we apologize. Often I see and hear adults trying to pass on the practice of apologizing to children by forcing them, coaxing them to offer apology when they have caused harm or hurt. But how many times do children see adults modeling the behavior of apologizing? How often do they receive an authentic apology to them from someone in a position of authority, whether that be a parent or a family member, a teacher, or a minister? Dr. Tova Klein, who's a professor at Barnard College Center for Toddler Development, says, it's scary for a child when a parent is upset with them. If you show them you genuinely recognize you hurt their feelings, it illustrates that you will come back together and the relationship can be repaired. I want my kid to grow up in a world where we hurt each other, where when we hurt each other, we seek to repair the relationship. I want my child to know that we all cause harm and we all experience harm, and that it is by talking about those truths that we can maintain and strengthen our relationships. My kid is teaching me that apologies make our relationships stronger, not weaker. Number 5, agency matters. Ask for what you need. This week, Otis and I had a standoff over breakfast. He wanted Cheerios and toaster waffles, and I just wanted toaster waffles, and we had 3 toaster waffles left. So I gave him a single waffle plus the bowl of Cheerios, and I put 2 waffles on my own plate. When we got to the breakfast table, it turns out he wanted 2 waffles. But there were no more left in the freezer. He even checked. And as he stood at the freezer door, eyes filling up with tears because he could not have a second waffle, I asked if he wanted to share my waffle. And his eyes lit up, so we each had a waffle and a half. We've all experienced or heard about the classic toddler tantrum over being handed the blue cup when they wanted the pink cup. The colors don't matter here, right? I've noticed that if I give my kid choices up front, the tantrums are less, not non-existent, but less. Because the blue cup, pink cup, or different colored cups tantrum is really about this deep human desire to have agency and choice, which is something we all need and deserve. And because our agency and choices have been taken away or thwarted so many times, some of us adults have forgotten to ask for what we need. Maybe just because we think we might not deserve it. I assure you, you do deserve it. You are worthy of what you need. But sometimes my kid needs a little coaching to ask for what he needs. Sometimes we all do. My kid is teaching me that people of all ages want agency. And sometimes we all need a little help saying what we need. 6, consent matters. You can say no. Now, consent with toddlers is tricky, right? Because as their parent, sometimes I have to clean up their body or move their body, even if he doesn't want that. So I've had to learn how to express when things have to happen to his body, when things are non-negotiable, and when things are really within his power to say no to. I've had to grow to be really explicit and intentional about letting him know about all the times when he can give and take away consent. Consent is a topic that is taught to all ages in our Whole Lives curriculum, our sexuality and health education curriculum. And that curriculum goes through kindergarten to elder adults. Consent is a topic in each age level because it's about having the choice to decide what happens to your body. And that goes for tickling and hugging, intimate touch, abortions, surgeries, the list could go on. Consent is about more than just sex, though. Consent is about anything that happens to your body. People of all ages can benefit from being more explicit about consent. We all have agency and choice over what happens to our bodies. And we all have to be clear that no is a boundary, and the absence of enthusiastic yes is a boundary too. My kid is teaching me to be more clear and explicit about consent. Last one, number 7. Fresh air cures almost everything. I have memories from the early days of parenting Otis when we had been shushing and bouncing so much we thought we might be permanently stuck that way. A few weeks in, we learned that taking our infant outside stopped almost any crying for a little while. So in the depths of desert summer, we ventured to the shady parts of our yard to calm our crying baby. And still today, going outside is a cure for just about any tantrum. Riding bikes, playing at the water table, raking stones, kicking dirt, it doesn't much matter what the activity is. When Otis is outside, he can much more easily regulate his mood, and so can we. It helps us adults, too, to be outside. That's why we go for walks and wheel and scoot around the neighborhood. It's why we garden and hike and bike ride. A little fresh air helps us co-regulate our moods, no matter our age. As I was thinking about this, I remembered that many good hospitals have courtyards where people who are ill and dying can go to breathe fresh air and feel the warmth of sunshine. My kid is teaching me that the outdoors are healing, no matter what age you are. That's my 7 for today. There are more, of course. You have your own lessons you could share too. To be very clear, I am no parenting expert, just a minister trying to grow and learn, trying to see the through lines of our lives and help a community of people make meaning of their lives in the world. As I was searching for words about parenting this week, I came across a poem that made me smile. It resonated with the season of life I am in, where books of philosophy and awesome lectures have been replaced with the mundane, day-to-day parenting of a small human. Maybe this sentiment resonates with you too. Maybe the task that is taking over your days and leading you into mundanity is parenting, or caretaking, or feeling homebound, or living with a diagnosis. For all those seasons and more, I offer this poem called Egg by C.G. Hanslick. He writes, "I'm scrambling an egg for my daughter. Why are you always whistling?" she asks. "Because I'm happy." And it's true, though it stuns me to say it out loud. There was a time when I wouldn't have seen it as my future. It's partly a matter of who is there to eat the egg, the self fallen out of love with itself through the tedium of familiarity, or this little self, so curious, so hungry, who emerged from the woman I love, a woman who loves me in a way I've come to think I deserve now that it arrives from outside me. Everything changes, we're told, and now the changes are everywhere. The house with its morning light that fills me like a revelation, the yard with its trees that cast a bit more shade each summer, the love of a woman that both is and isn't confounding, and the love of this little clamor of questions at my waist. Clamor of questions, you clamor of answers. Here's your egg.
If you are proud of this church, become its advocate. If you are concerned for its future, share its message. If its values resonate deep within you, give it a measure of your devotion. This church cannot survive without your faith, your confidence, your enthusiasm, or your resources. Now, an offering will be collected to support the life and work of our congregation. If you are joining us on live stream, you can send a check to the office or give online at uuctucson.org/donate. If you are here in person, the ushers will come around now with the offering baskets to collect your donations. As the offering is collected, announcements about upcoming activities will appear on the screen.
We've cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I've told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sail to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. Well, you can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. And you can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. There are girls who grow up strong and bold, and boys quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some follow behind, some go in their own way and time. Some women love women, some men love men, some raise children, some never do. And you can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts and games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they'll give the same back to you. And you can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. And you can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Will be the love you leave behind when you're done.
Thank you, Brian. Everyone is invited to gather for social hour after the service in Goddard Hall, which is out the double doors behind you and to your left. There will be coffee, iced tea, lemonade, and some snacks and good company. Social hour food and refreshments are free for all, but donations are greatly appreciated to help cover the costs. If you are new to UUCT and want to stay in touch with us, you can fill out a guest information card in the Welcome Center in Goddard Hall. You can also find a virtual guest information card in the newcomer section of our website. If you are a registered voter in Pima County and have not already signed the Arizona for Abortion Access petition to put an amendment to enshrine abortion rights in our state constitution on the ballot in November, please see me after the service. I will be in Goddard at a table near the back. Also, our name tag holder fell victim of the wind last week and is in shambles. If anyone is interested in repairing it or coming up with another idea, please see Reverend Bethany. As our children rejoin us, I invite you to sing our gratitude song. The lyrics will appear on the screen.
We are grateful for community, for gifts we share and how we show our love and care. With thinking minds and helping hands, we'll build a place where love and hope expand. One more time. We are grateful for community, for gifts we share and how we show our love and care. With thinking minds and helping hands, we'll build a place where love and hope expand. As we're waiting for technical things, I'll invite the kids to come on in, bring them on in, and in a moment a story may magically appear on the screen, but meanwhile, tell somebody near you, hi. Speak amongst yourselves for a second. Sometimes I do it but we're both here today. Hey, and now a story. Here we go.
Welcome. Chapter 1, Credo. Each spring for many years, I have set myself the task of writing a personal statement of belief, a credo. When I was younger, the statement ran for many pages, trying to cover all bases with no loose ends. It sounded like a Supreme Court brief, as if words could resolve all conflicts about the meaning of existence. The credo has grown shorter in recent years, sometimes cynical, sometimes comical, and sometimes bland, but I keep working at it. Recently, I set out to get the statement of personal belief down to one page in simple terms, fully understanding the naive idealism that implied. The examined life is no picnic. I realized then that I already know most of what's necessary to live a meaningful life, that it isn't all that complicated. I know it, and I have known it for a long, long time. Living it? Well, that's another matter, yes? Here's my credo. All I really need to know about how to live and what to do and how to be, I learned in kindergarten. Wisdom was not at the top of a graduate school mountain, but there in the sand pile at Sunday school. These are the things I learned. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say sorry when you hurt somebody. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day, some. Take a nap every afternoon. When you go out into the world, watch for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. Wonder. Remember that little seed in the styrofoam cup? The roots go down, the plant goes up, and nobody really knows how or why, but we are all like that. Goldfish and hamsters and white mice and even the little seeds in the styrofoam cup, they all die. So do we. And then remember the Dick and Jane books and the first word you learned, the biggest word of all? Look. Everything you need to know is in there somewhere. The golden rule and love and basic sanitation, ecology and politics and equality and sane living. Take any one of those items and extrapolate it into the sophisticated adult terms and apply it to your family life or your work or your government or your world, and it holds true and clear and firm. Think what a better world it would be if we all, the whole wide world, had cookies and milk about 3 o'clock every afternoon and then lay down with our blankies for a nap. Or if all governments had as a basic policy to always put things back where they found them and to clean up their own mess. And it is still true no matter how old you are. When you go out into the world, it is best to hold hands and stick together. In reflection, some 25 years after originally writing this, Fulgham concludes, "Of course, it wasn't literally all you needed to know. Certainly not. But if you didn't get this basic stuff to begin with, you and society will pay a heavy price for your failure. If you did learn it and do practice it, then all the rest of what you needed to know has lasting foundation." There, now, the kindergarten credo amplified but unchanged. That's what I believe and know and trust at age 65. Robert Fulgham was born in 1937 and grew up in Waco, Texas. For 22 years, he served as a Unitarian parish minister in the Pacific Northwest. He can be found online at his website. All I really need to know.
And can we conclude with a song? The words will be on the screen, but it is in the gray hymnals, number 34, "Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire." And we'll give it just a second as the words are finding their way there. Will you rise as you are able? Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. and strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control. Our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are freed.
I invite you to join me in saying our words for chalice extinguishing from Reverend Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues until we are together again. Friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving.